Welcome back, guys, or if you're new to my channel, this is Automotive Anonymous, and I'm currently driving a 2025 Subaru Outback Wilderness. And if you are new to my channel, you should know that I'm a Subaru owner myself. I actually have a 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness. I bought it in September of 21, so I've owned it now for almost 3 years, and I've done probably like 20 videos on mine specifically. But we also own a 25 Forester, and I've owned a Crosstrek before. It was just a 2-liter Crosstrek. And when it came time to upgrade it to the bigger, badder Subaru Outback with the big 2.4-liter turbo engine that even has a Garrett turbocharger on it, I knew it was time. So if you're interested in this vehicle or the dealership, Twin Falls Subaru is fantastic. They ship all over the country and they sell below MSRP, so I'll link them down in the description below. And if you find anything helpful in this video today regarding how it does driving, my thoughts, opinions, after owning one for almost 3 years, please consider liking this video, subscribe if you want to watch more stuff, and comment your thoughts and opinions below, and why you're watching this video. Anyways, this is the 2025 Outback. It's the 6th year of the 6th generation, and it's likely to be the last year of this generation before the Outback, which is rumored to have a complete redesign next year for 2026, where Subaru's dropping the Legacy. And in its place, I'm hopeful that they bring out a Subaru Baja, because 20 years ago, it was a failure. But in today's time where everyone cares about off-roading and little truck beds and things like that, I think the Subaru Baja has a much better chance of being successful today. Subaru Legacy turned into a wagon, turned into a little mini truck, wasn't successful. People didn't have money to buy it. But this video is about the Outback Wilderness. And I can tell you that there's a lot of things that this has going for it, between all of its safety features, being a top safety pick plus, having really bright LED headlights, back seats that actually accommodate full-size adults with heated seats, they recline, and there's ventilation back there, and over 30 cubic feet of room. It also has 9.5 inches of ground clearance, which is more than a Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro by about a tenth of an inch, making this an actual pretty functional vehicle. It does a really good job. It has about a 9-foot wheelbase, so it's pretty good on the road. It's pretty stable, weighing about 3,900 pounds and being about 16 feet long. It only has a payload capacity, though, of about 900 pounds, which is actually pretty average for the crossover class. But what that means to you and how that could affect you and your family's lifestyle is if you have 5 occupants in here and you each weigh 200 pounds, you're over the limit. Or if you have 600 pounds of people, a couple hundred pounds on the roof, you might not be able to fit anything else in the cargo area without being over the limit. So just keep in mind it is a unibody. There are some trade-offs, but one of the big trade-offs driving a unibody, driving a Subaru on the global platform, is it's super comfortable. It's super smooth. It doesn't have drastic nosedive like a Toyota 4Runner. It has good MPG overall. These are rated for 21 city, 26 highway. And if you guys have seen any of my other videos, I can often get over 30 miles per gallon driving at 60 miles an hour on country roads like I am today for this video. It does a good job. It's fast too, and I put my foot down to the floor. Check this out. It gets right up to speed. On average, the turbo Outbacks do 0 to 60 3 to 4 seconds faster than the non-turbo Outbacks, depending on density altitude, so basically the air quality and how much the turbo's compensating versus not. But having 277 pound-feet of torque at 2,000 RPM, this thing is really punchy, especially around town. It really feels good. And honestly, I know a lot of people knock the CVTs, but it is smooth. It is doing a really good job when you do use your adaptive safety features like your adaptive cruise control. It's not aggressively downshifting. It's not being unpleasant. Your occupants in the vehicle aren't going to be wondering what the heck your vehicle's doing and why it's tuned so poorly. It's just a smooth system. These get better every single year, and while this 2025, feels very similar to my own personal Outback Wilderness, it honestly feels like the same vehicle if I wasn't looking at the color of it when I get in and out, and maybe the fact that the steering wheel looks a little bit newer and has the heat button. It really just feels like the same vehicle. But let's get up to speed right here. Let's see how long it takes to catch this GMC Canyon. And full throttle. Feels like I'm matching them, and now I'm gaining on them. So it really didn't take very long. I did a video like this in, I think, a 2.5-liter 2025 Forester just a few weeks ago, and it took a lot longer than that to catch up, let me tell you. But driving this one, going over bumps and ruts and bridges like that in the road, it's just so smooth. This is such a good ride. In fact, I've driven over 800 miles in a single day in my Outback, and I have a video talking about the experience of that. I got for a lot of that trip over 30 miles per gallon, and I wasn't fatigued. I felt like I could go a couple more hours of driving if I had to at the end of the trip, but thankfully after a little bit over 800 miles, I was back home and didn't have to go any further. This is a really good vehicle. There's a reason why the Outback Wilderness is the vehicle that I have kept longer than anything else. Historically, I would trade vehicles every 2 years or so. That was kind of my splurge and what I like to spend money on. I don't buy expensive food and expensive clothes and stuff like that, but I like to drive safe, reliable vehicles that I just don't have to worry about, especially where my day job is doing physical therapy. I work with people who have been in nasty car accidents, and I drive, sometimes 70 to 300 miles a day, depending on what town I've gone to do physical therapy. So I value having a safe, reliable vehicle. Before I switched to Subaru, I used to drive Toyotas. I had a supercharged FJ Cruiser in the middle of having two Tacomas. My most recent one was a 2017, and in 2 years I put over 60,000 miles on it, and that was a fun experience. And then I discovered Subarus, and I realized that these are a better value. They're all-wheel drive in the snow, freaking kicks butt. Even these Snowflake Mountain Peak rated Geolander Yokohama tires, they do a really good job, and mine at about 40,000 miles still has over 730 seconds of tread depth. And a lot of you guys have commented below that you have even kept yours to about 60,000 miles before they are in the yellow and approaching the red on the measurement tool to where you need to have them replaced. So there's just a lot going for you, and you probably shouldn't have too many repairs, too many things to worry about. But even if you do, a lot of the maintenance items on this vehicle are pretty easy. Subaru has really perfected their Boxer layout, their Boxer platform. I don't know what this little curl is doing, but we're just going to pass it right here. And handling corners, accelerating, stopping, nothing really stands out on this one other than it has a lot of power. 260 horse. It seriously goes pretty far. Those ponies really run you down the road. And honestly, I'm having a lot of fun. This can fit pretty easily in most garages. The hatch doesn't open excessively high, so hopefully your ceiling can, it can clear your ceiling. It can do a full circle in about 36 feet, so even right here, let me pull over to the side of the road. Obviously, these are unusually wide roads. Let's see how quickly it can turn. Full steering wheel lock, about 1 and a partial turn. Yeah. And I'm just halfway, basically just on the line halfway across the width of the road. So it's an unusually wide road. It would be a lot tighter on this part of the road, but the Outback, it does a great job. And it's probably time to get to the 0 to 60 because I don't want this video to be too long. 0 to 60 in the Outback Wilderness. Traction control's off. I'll brake rev it, but keep in mind density altitude's over 5,500 feet today. So we're over a mile above sea level, air quality equivalent, and even though it's turboed, it's still probably down on power about 10%. Let's see what it can do. Pulls really hard at 4,000 RPM. And true 0 to 60 came in at 7.11 seconds. So given the fact that our air quality is not very good today, a low 7-second true time or a high 6-second time without rollout, how this would have been rated, it's really not that bad. If we didn't do the brake rev, it probably would have been about 0.3 of a second slower, is my best guess. So a low 7-second true time, really not bad. The best one that I have ever gotten in my own Outback Wilderness was actually a 6.29 or a 6.03, how it would be rated without rollout. So basically 6 seconds flat in the dead of winter. This is a pretty impressive wagon. It's basically as fast as the WRX, but you have way more capacity, way more ground clearance, and it's just a smoother ride with a longer wheelbase. But the last few things to mention here is the upgraded Harman Kardon speakers. They do sound better, but they don't sound as good in this as they do in the Forester with the HK speakers for some reason. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the acoustics, maybe it was just the songs I was listening to earlier, but I didn't find them as impressive today. The heated steering wheel feature is nice. These StarTech seats do not even age under normal wear and tear, at least in my experience. They do a really good job. They're not too thick, so they don't take up too much space from the interior volume of the vehicle, and they're comfortable. They have enough bolstering that they'll remind you not to slide around a corner too fast because you'll hear the wheels screeching and you'll be sliding out of your chair. But in normal driving, the comfort's there, the bolstering is good, the heated seat function works pretty decent, and overall, it's just a really nice place to be. I have no gripes, no real concerns driving the Outback. There's a reason why I bought one, and there's a reason why I would recommend one to you guys. But like always, I recommend test drive the competition. check out other vehicles, makes, and models that maybe you aren't as familiar with, to make sure that if you do end up buying this one, that you're happy with it, that you know you did at least trial the competition and you have no reasons not to buy one for yourself. And with that said, like this video if you got anything out of it, comment your thoughts and opinions below, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll link the dealership below because they're really good people to work with. And with that said, I wish you guys the best. Take care.